when the project is closed, you will be the one to continue with the task force. So here, with the vision developed, we want to see how you stakeholders will take that task force beyond 10 years, 20 years, and so on. So let's look at what the task force is. Basically, the task force is a semi-formal network of key stakeholders. The idea is to strengthen coordination and collaboration that is among the actors across the catfish value chain. Then the membership is voluntary. If the association, group, or cooperatives wishes to contribute, wishes to participate, is open for your contribution for the implementation of the project. Then it is believed to have a kind of platform for collaboration, for knowledge sharing, for advocacy among the stakeholders, that is in the entire chain. Here what we mean by the entire chain is that not only the fish farmers, that is not only the producers, but other stakeholders are expected to contribute in the value chain. Then it's going to be a kind of, like I said, a key stakeholder, that is a group or association, they will be considered for the task force. The objective of the task force is nothing but for the sustainable development of the project. As we have said earlier, when the project is gone, one day will not be there. So it will be the one moving the project forward. Then these are the specific objectives. Is to provide a strategic guidance on the future of the catfish farming in Nigeria. That is across the chain, as I said earlier. Then for collaboration, for coordination action among the core value chain and non-core value chain actors. Here we want to have a kind of linkage. We notice that there is a gap between the core and non-core value chain actors. So we want to see how this gap will be bridged and how the contribution of the non-core value chain actors will smoothen they have the ownership of the task force. Or in nutshell, the stakeholders have the ownership of the project. So feel free, we need your contribution, we need your active participation. Then at the same time, we want you to look at the project as your own, not for FAO, because definitely it's going to be glorious. If you could remember last time, there was a kind of deliberation to look at the name or how we are going to name the task force and so on. But from experience from other countries, more especially my colleague, Yaisa, she's here, she's working with Guyana and Zimbabwe. What she was saying is that in those countries, they look at it as more of working group than even the task force. If you could remember, there was a kind of hot deliberation on that. So in those countries, they look at it as more of working group than even the task force. Because here, once if we think of the task force, we think of a kind of enforcement or a kind of public-private sector partnership for the contribution in terms of successful implementation of the project. Move to the composition. I want to have your input on the objective. We have seen the broad objective. What will be your contribution in terms of this objective of the task force? Any contribution on the objective? We want to have a kind of your buy-in idea. Any contribution on the objective of the task force? Yes. The role of the ad hoc, that is the task of reference of the ad hoc. So we are going to set up a meeting to establish the artwork to oversee the affairs just for 1 year. Then we plan also to have a kind of a small group. What we mean by small group is that a few people to come together, either a chair, a president, a secretary, a vice president, to look at the affairs of the task force. Then much emphasis will be given, at least 50% should be from the private sector. Then at the same time, we hope if it works well, 50% representation will be also from women. It will be submitted by the SABC to analyze the report, to go through the report and critically study the report to a kind of respond if there is feedback. Then thereafter, what they have responded is going to be considered. Then next is to propose the rules of procedure and mandate of the value chain task force. Then the next step is to propose a kind of segmentation of the task force into like a working group. The different working group, that is the main task force chair or the main task force team, the ad hoc team will chair or will oversee the other subgroup committee or other subgroup working committee. Let's make it as working committee. For instance, if you have a communication subcommittee, the main task force team or the main ad hoc team will oversee what this communication team are doing to ensure that this information are communicated. Then at the same time to look at the exchange and reflection on the implementation of the upgrading strategy and how these challenges are going to be addressed. Then if there are some follow-up issues for them to follow up to see that there is a kind of progress in terms of the implementation of the project. Then the whole task force as a team, apart from the ad hoc that will be meeting quarterly, they are going to meet in 6 months, that is biannually, to evaluate the entire process of the task force, that is the ad hoc committee. The task force should meet and review the performance and decide to see in terms of evaluating the progress of the work and for contribution. It's important to be part of the task force. Yes.
The task force, who is it reporting?
Who this task force should be reporting to? First, in the inauguration of the task force, we are going to invite the funding partners, that is the EU, the PMZ, and the OECD, Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific, to look at the entire process of coming up with this task force. Then, when the task force do the expected task from them, they are going to submit the report to the project at the country level. It's the project that will also forward what we have to our partners or to the other